Good morning, good morning. It's Pause with Elizabeth Elenor, and my internet is stuffing up. So for some reason I can do it on my phone, but I can't do it on my computer. We actually went and to see if we could get an extender so that it would support our 3 split level house that we live in, because my modem is down the bottom of in the bottom floor and I'm on the top floor, and the extender sort of didn't work, and now it's making it harder for us to actually get back onto the normal internet. So we're still trying. There's some sort of mesh system that we can do we're doing our best to try and get this internet sorted. So I wanted to talk about following the breadcrumbs of, when you're living on this planet, when you're living in your highest capacity, and you're living in a place of not just in your old identity, in the conditions of everything that we've been told about ourselves, but living at this beautiful place of, living this magical life and living to create and be a creator, and living in the magic, right? The magic that actually, taking the red pill instead of the blue pill is what I'm saying, right? When you're living in that and you're holding the space of what it is that you want to create, you get all these little breadcrumbs that support you to move forward. And so it's being able to recognize what those breadcrumbs are and see them so that you're following the trail, right? Like Hansel and Gretel in the fairy tale. They left the breadcrumbs. Now, unfortunately, someone came along and took those breadcrumbs away, right? And that can be your unconscious, your conditioning, that part of you that really wants to keep you, holding you down, holding you in this safe place that really doesn't serve you and is really painful, because you've been there, you've done that, right? You know what it feels like to have the I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I need to keep practicing because I don't feel capable. Getting the bad relationships, getting the getting the bad clients, getting the the health conditions, whatever it might be. When you're not in your lane, the world falls apart. And that's when, your hormones can kick in, and emotionally you can find yourself in this place of, feeling alone, feeling drained, feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you're not good enough, as I was saying before, feeling like you are powerless. But I'm here to tell you that when you can support yourself to step out of that, even if it's when you catch yourself in that moment, when you go, oh, here I am again. I'm thinking lower vibrational thoughts. I'm thinking about about my previous experiences. When you can catch yourself and go, oh, wait a minute, I know that I am way bigger than this. I'm more powerful than this. I am a creator. I am strong. I am capable. When you can catch yourself in those frequencies, those lower frequencies, and pivot them, right? Pivot back into that I choose to be a powerful being. We're nearly finished a course that I put together called Calling in the One, and it's been 3 months with beautiful. I think we've had we've had 18 women in that course going through and watching themselves falling into recognizing that calling in the one is actually calling in themselves, and it's been a really beautiful experience. And as we get to the end, a lot of them are going, what's next? What, I want to continue. I want to keep working on myself. I want to keep clearing this stuff and seeing what's going on. Anyway, I had a really quick call with a woman this morning who wants to move into working with me one-on-one. And we were having a discussion, and she was saying, I can feel this momentum. And she was saying that she just had her birthday, and long story short, her ex came to look after, to babysit, and she said, and he was really different. He was more loving, and there was something different about him, And I said to her, hey, just remember, my internet on my phone. I said, just remember you've had 3 months of recoding, right? So is it that you have changed, and because your frequency is different, the frequency that he is putting out and matching with you is now different. He's showing up differently. And that's what happens when you start shifting your vibration, when you start living in your lane, when you start being empowered and holding your own boundaries and being aware of what you choose and what you don't choose, but coming from a higher perspective, not from your old patterning. When you are in that space, people show up in your world very differently, right? People show up, and when you're holding that space and you're living in that lane, these little breadcrumbs happen. And one of the, for example, I've been holding this beautiful creation, and it's in my unconscious patterning is a big creation, right? Like I've defined it as big, right? I've made it into a label, but really when you're creating, it actually doesn't, there's no big, small creations, right? When you're creating with the superconscious, what I call, the superconscious, your higher self, that quantum field of all possibilities, making a sandwich and making $1 million is the same, right? It's got the same steps in your own field. And so I've made it mean that it's a big creation, and I'm aware of that. And so as I'm creating and I'm holding this frequency and watching, it doesn't show up in your current reality straight away, but you've got to hold the vision even if you can't see it. You just keep holding the vision. As I've been watching it, I've been watching these little breadcrumbs happen. I've been watching where I've needed to shift in my the way I'm managing my finances. I've had to watch where I'm going to learn more about financial intelligence. I've had to watch where I've had things like reels jump into my field and go, I want to have a look at what this person's doing, and I like what they're, watching what their lane is and taking information. That feels right to me, getting new training. I've been watching as things download. I woke up Easter morning, right? Sunday morning. And for the first time, I'm going through menopause, right? For the first time, I actually felt hormonal and had a big cry, which is so unusual for me. Like I'm not one, I'm a crier, right? But I'm not one to be hormonally crying from menopause. And I woke up in tears. I didn't know what it was. I was supposed to go and hang out with my kids, and I messaged them and said, not coming anymore. And me and Tim went fishing instead. But before we went, I went and put the clothes on the line, and so I've just had this, emotional release for whatever reason, don't know what it was. And here I am putting clothes on the line, and I get these words, wild leadership. And like, wow, wild leadership. I really like the name of wild leadership. And by the time I got to the boat and we went fishing, all of this information starts coming in of what that means to me. And which I'm going to share, but as we move on, because we're going to do a bit of a launch in September when Women of Light becomes 4 years old, right? So it's my 25th year of being a mentor and energy healer, 4 years of Women of Light, and we're going to launch. So we're going to have a really exciting experience. So hang on to that. Mark it in your diary. September is always a big experience in Women of Light. And so that was one of the things, like these little marks coming and these breadcrumbs. And then through that, another thing happened. Watching this, one of the women in Calling in the One happens to be into, branding, graphic designer. We've got to talking, and through that experience, something magical's happened. All of these little things are I'm watching these things come into my world because I'm holding the idea and the vision and aligning with that vision now, embodying it in my body now. I'm experiencing it in my body now. Every single morning, I step into that feeling. I feel it. I energetically experience it. And then I watch out for these little breadcrumbs, for these little moments. Yeah, the little hints, right, Emma? Those little moments that they illuminate. I once massaged this woman when I was a massage therapist for 24 years or something. I suppose I'm still a massage therapist. I'm just not actively massaging. And when I was waking up spiritually, I was watching things were happening to me, and one of them was that guides would come through while I was massaging. And this guide once told me, he showed me where threads happen, like energetic threads, and when they come together, he called them an illumination point. And I really loved that language, right? This illumination point where something illuminates. So have you ever had that experience of something just seems to be a bit more shiny than everything else around it? There's something that catches your eye, right? Or you get a lot of people get those chills, right? All over their body as a recognition spiritually. There's something that the body responds to, and it's like these breadcrumbs. And you've got the opportunity to grab them, right? Grab those opportunities with innocence. Don't make them mean anything. One of the ways breadcrumbs works is to be an observer of it, to stay in your innocence, to hold the frequency of your ability to not what's the word for it? Not define it or make an assessment of it, but be open to whatever the experience is without the judgment and making it mean something, right? As spiritual, the spiritual and personal development industry, especially the spiritual development industry, oh my gosh, we make things mean so many things, right? And everyone's so, rushes to say, oh, look what I created, but won't own it if something bad happens or negative or, traumatic happens or whatever. And when you're really mastering spirituality, when you're mastering being in your, as I said, in the superconscious, in that part of you, that higher aspect, you take ownership of all of it, right? You take ownership of all of it. And there's no judgment of it either, because when you're in a human body, like, we're not perfect. We're freaking not perfect. And that's so liberating when you can stop being perfect and you can stop and let go of all of the have to do's or I'm so amazing because I'm a manifestor and all that sort of crap. When you let go of all of that and you just live in your lane, it is so liberating. And so when you're holding on and looking at what, if something doesn't quite go the way you wish it would, or you're holding the vision of, then that is an opportunity for feedback, right? That's an opportunity for you to look at what's going on in your world. How can I tweak things? What is a really good question I can ask myself to get back into my lane, to keep back into that alignment, to stand in that vibration of, holding the space of, a successful business. One of the things that we work on in my Conscious Creator Mastermind is an elf business, easy, lucrative, and fun, right? How can I step into that? What is my lane when I'm going to step into this beautiful business and hold that space? So what's the questions you can ask yourself? Because when you ask a question, you create a void, and the universe needs to fill it, right? The way the system works is the universe hates voids. It needs to fill it. And so when you're holding that space and asking the correct questions, you're going to get an answer. And that's when you've got to keep your eyes open, your ears open, your heart open, your senses open, and watch. When someone talks about blue cars, right? And all of a sudden you're seeing blue cars everywhere. Be aware of the breadcrumbs. What is it that you want to create? See it in your vision. Allow it to be there in everything that's happening. Be the creator. Hold that space. Be the empowered woman. You've got this. You can do this. It is not just for a few. It's for everyone. You just have to commit to yourself. You have to show up for yourself. You have to take radical responsibility. You have to be the one that's going, I'm staying in my lane. And I'm going to watch for these threads. I'm going to watch for these breadcrumbs. And I'm going to step into what is my highest and best. And I'm not going to focus at all on anything that's not in that field, right? So that's me for today. Hope you enjoyed. Please put in the comments anything that you got out of this, because that's another part of being in your higher capacity. Being able to share this information, what landed for you, because it might support someone else, another woman of light, to reflect on what's going on in her life. And this is what it's all about, right? It's all about living together in a co-creative environment. So what did you get out of today? And put it in the comments so that you can support others to reflect on what's going on for them. Be powerful and share and connect with those that are around you, because it may just support another woman in their environment. Take care, enjoy, have an amazing week, and we'll catch you soon.